While we wait for my coffee to brew, let's have a quick little chat. While we wait for my coffee to brew, let's have a quick little chat.
Hey beautiful queens, welcome back to another episode, and I need y'all to buckle up for this one because we're going somewhere today that's going to make some of you uncomfortable. Some of you might even need to pause and have a conversation with yourself after this. But that's exactly why we need to talk about it, because the enemy works in shadows, and when we shine light on his tactics, we take away his power. Let me start with something that's going to stop you in your tracks. Not every enemy wears black lipstick. Sometimes your biggest enemy is wearing your favorite hoodie, knows your coffee order, and has your Netflix password. Sounds like someone you know? YEAHHH exactly. Sometimes it's your own friend, smiling in your face. And before you think this doesn't apply to you, before you think you're too loyal, too saved, too solid for this, let me tell you something that might humble you. Betrayal doesn't usually start with an evil plan. It starts with one small thought that you don't kill when you should. Let me paint you a picture that might feel a little too familiar to some of you. You're hanging with your girl, and her boyfriend comes through. Maybe it's her man, maybe it's the guy she's been talking to, maybe it's someone she has her eyes on, and you notice something. Maybe it's his smile, maybe it's how he talks, maybe it's how he looks at you, maybe it's how he remembers the thing you mentioned in the passing week. At first, you brush it off. You tell yourself you're just being friendly. You tell yourself there's nothing wrong with noticing that he's attractive. I mean, your friend has good taste, right? But then he texts you. Maybe it starts innocent, asking about your friend, asking for advice about surprising her, asking about something work-related if y'all work together. And you respond, maybe a little too quickly, maybe with a little more enthusiasm than necessary. Then those texts start getting a little more personal, a little more frequent. Maybe he starts asking about your day, about your dreams, about things that have nothing to do with your friend. Maybe he starts complimenting you in ways that make you feel seen, appreciated, and special. And somewhere in your mind, a voice starts whispering, he gets me in a way no man has ever done. If I was with him, I would treat him better. Maybe they're not even that serious anyway. Before you know it, you're looking forward to his messages more than hers. You're dressing a little different when you know he'll be around. You're finding excuses to be wherever he is. You're keeping secrets from your friend about conversations that she deserves to know about. And that, my beautiful lady, is how betrayal begins. It starts with small compromises that lead to big devastation. Now let me take you to the word, because this isn't a new story. This is as old as humanity itself. And there's no better example than King David and the situation with Bathsheba and Uriah. David wasn't just some random man on the street. This was the King David, the man after God's own heart, the one who killed Goliath, the one who wrote the songs we still sing today, the one chosen and anointed by God himself. And Uriah wasn't some stranger David had never met. Uriah was one of David's mighty men, his elite soldiers. This was someone who had David's back in battle, someone who was loyal, someone who trusted David with his life. But one evening, David was on his roof, and he saw Bathsheba bathing. The Bible says she was beautiful to look at. And in that moment, David had a choice. He could have looked away. He could have gone inside. He could have remembered his position, his calling, his relationship with God, his responsibility to his people. But he didn't. Instead, he fed the desire. He inquired about her. He sent for her. And when he found out she was married to one of his own loyal soldiers, that should have been the end of it. But desire that's been fed becomes a monster that demands to be satisfied. David slept with Bathsheba. And when she got pregnant, instead of facing the consequences of his actions, instead of repenting and making it right, David tried to cover it up. He called Uriah home from battle, thinking Uriah would sleep with his wife and believe the child was his. But Uriah was so loyal, so honorable, that he refused to enjoy the comforts of home while his fellow soldiers were still on the battlefield. Oh, what a man. So what did David do? He had Uriah killed. He literally had this loyal man murdered to cover up his own sin. One moment of desire, one choice to feed temptation instead of killing it, led to adultery, deception, and murder. Now you might be thinking, but sis, I'm not planning to kill anybody. I'm just talking to my friends, man. It's not that deep. But can I tell you something? The spirit behind David's actions is the same spirit behind modern-day betrayal. It's selfishness. It's putting your desires above loyalty. It's convincing yourself that what you want is more important than who you hurt. Whether it's flirting with your friend's boyfriend, going behind your sister's back for a guy she likes, betraying a business partner for a better opportunity, or sharing secrets about one friend with another, the spirit is the same. It's the spirit that says I deserve this more than they do. It's the spirit that says they won't find out, so it's not really hurting anyone. It's the spirit that says if they really cared, they would have treated him better anyway. Let me tell you something that might sting. Your friend's man is not your blessing. Your sister's opportunity is not your provision. God is not going to bless you with something you had to betray someone to get. And I know some of y'all are sitting there thinking, but what if he really likes me? What if we have a real connection? What if God is trying to show me something? Baby, God is not the author of confusion, and he's definitely not the author of betrayal. If a man will betray his current situation for you, what makes you think he won't betray you for the next woman who catches his eye? Let's talk about what David's choices cost him, because sin always has consequences. Always. The child that was conceived through his adultery died. His family was never the same. His own children ended up betraying each other, fighting each other, even trying to overthrow him. His relationship with God was damaged, and although God forgave him, the consequences of his actions rippled through generations. But here's what I want you to understand. It wasn't just David who suffered. Bathsheba lost her child. Uriah lost his life. David's family was torn apart. His kingdom faced turmoil for years. That's what betrayal does. It doesn't just hurt the person you betray. It doesn't just hurt the person you're betraying them with. It hurts you. It stains your peace. It damages your reputation. It affects your ability to trust and be trusted. I've seen friendships that were decades deep get destroyed because of one moment of betrayal. I've seen families torn apart because someone couldn't keep their hands to themselves. I've seen women lose their peace, their joy, their ability to look themselves in the mirror because they chose temporary pleasure over permanent integrity. And for what? For a man who was willing to betray someone for you and will probably be willing to betray you for someone else. For a moment of feeling chosen when you were just being used. For the thrill of taking something that wasn't yours in the first place. So let me give you some practical guardrails to protect yourself from this trap. First, kill desire early. The moment you notice yourself looking at your friend's men differently, the moment you find yourself enjoying his attention a little too much, the moment you catch yourself thinking what if, that's when you shut it down.
You don't entertain harmless conversations. You don't engage in flirting. You don't feed thoughts that will grow into actions you'll regret. Second, value loyalty more than pleasure. A moment of thrill is not worth years of broken trust. A temporary high is not worth a lifetime of people questioning your character. Your reputation is more valuable than any man's attention. Third, remember that God is watching. Even if nobody else finds out, heaven has already recorded it. Even if you think you can keep it secret, God sees every text, every look, every thought. Fourth, put yourself in their shoes before you cross that line. Ask yourself, if this were done to me, would I still call it just vibes? If my friend was entertaining my man behind my back, would I be understanding about it? If someone I trusted was working against me in secret, would I forgive it? As no big deal? Let me ask you some heart check questions. And I want you to be honest with yourself. Is there someone in your life right now that you're entertaining that you shouldn't be? Is there a conversation happening that crosses boundaries? Is there a friendship you're betraying through your actions? Or your silence? Are you justifying behavior that you know is wrong? Are you making excuses for choices that are hurting people who trust you? Are you the friend who can be trusted? Or are you the friend that others need to watch and avoid? I'm not asking these questions to condemn you. I'm asking because I want you to be free. I want you to be the woman who can look herself in the mirror with peace. I want you to be the woman whose yes means yes, and whose loyalty is unshakable. If you're sitting here right now and you know you've crossed a line, it's not too late to make it right. David eventually faced his sin, repented, and found forgiveness. But he still had to deal with the consequences. The longer you wait, the deeper the damage gets. The longer you justify it, the harder it becomes to turn around. The longer you keep secrets, the heavier they become. If you need to confess, confess. If you need to cut off contact, cut it off. If you need to have difficult conversations, have them. Your integrity is worth more than your comfort. And if you haven't crossed that line yet, but you can feel yourself getting close, this is your warning. This is your moment to choose differently. This is your opportunity to be the woman who values loyalty over lust, friendship over fleeting feelings, character over temporary pleasure. Now, let's look at another story from the scriptures. There was a woman named Herodias. She was once married to a man named Philip, but her eyes wandered to someone else. Who? Philip's own brother. Herod. She left her husband and married Herod instead. People whispered, tongues wagged, but Herodias didn't care. Then came John the Baptist, a man who wasn't afraid to speak the truth. He stood before Herod and Herodias and said plainly, "This marriage is wrong," and instead of repenting, Herodias' heart turned dark. She waited for her chance. One day, during a grand banquet, she used her own daughter to dance before the king. Charming the guests, Herod, feeling pleased, promised the girl anything she wanted. Herodias whispered in her ear, "Ask for the head of John the Baptist." And that's how a truth-teller was silenced. Not because he lied, but because he exposed sin. It's a chilling reminder that betrayal isn't always stealing someone's man. Sometimes, it's destroying anyone who dares to confront our wrongdoing. And in today's world, it might not be a sword. It might be cancel culture, public shaming, or character assassination. Also, here's another one from the Bible. There was Joseph, a young Hebrew slave in the house of Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Joseph was handsome, trustworthy, and full of integrity. Potiphar's wife noticed him and wanted him.
Day after day, she called him to her chambers. Joseph refused, saying, "How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" One day, when they were alone, she grabbed his cloak, demanding he stay. Joseph ran, leaving the garment in her hands. But instead of being embarrassed, she screamed, "Lead to the servants," and accused him of trying to harm her. Joseph's reward for doing the right thing. He was sent to prison. The lesson is timeless and endless. Some people don't just take what is theirs. They destroy you when they can't have you. And just like Joseph, you might be punished for your purity, but God's vindication will always come. Beautiful soul, let me leave you with this. Your character is built in moments when you think nobody is watching. Your integrity is proven when you have the opportunity to do wrong, but you choose to do right anyway. You were created to be a woman of honor, a woman of loyalty, a woman who can be trusted. Don't let temporary desires rob you of permanent peace. Don't let momentary pleasure cost you lifelong relationships. Don't let the enemy use your emotions to destroy what God is building in your life. Before you cross that line, remember this today, that loyalty broken can never be put back together the same way. Trust shattered leaves scars even after it's forgiven. Betrayal might feel good in the moment, but it tastes bitter for years. Choose differently. Choose better. Choose to be the friend, the sister, the woman that others can trust completely, because at the end of the day, that's the woman you'll be proud to be. I love you, I'm praying for you, and I believe you can make the right choice. Don't forget to subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and let me know what guardrails you are putting in place to protect your integrity. Until next time, choose loyalty, choose honor, and choose to be trustworthy. It's still your favorite girl and sister, Amor.
My coffee is getting cold. I need to take it now. Goodbye, and take care.